Good morning, students. In today's session, we are going to discuss History Chapter 3, Bhakti Cult and Sufi Heritage. Okay, so now let us understand about their contribution of Bhakti Cult and also religious harmony, and where especially in South India and North India, their contribution to the society was great. So that especially we are going to study about some saints, Bhakti cult saints, who gave lot of contribution to the society. That is, among them we can see some of the notable saints in South India. Andal, Akkamadevi, Purandaradasa, Kanakadasa, and Shishunala Sharif were notable. Okay, so in South and North India, Alvars and Dasas, and also in North India, especially Sufi saints created a social awakening through Bhakti cult. And also we can see in South India, already as I have told, Andal, Akkamadevi and other, and they were notable in South India, creating social awakening through religious harmony. At the same time, we can see even in North India also, some of them were Kabir Das and Guru Nanak, Tulsi Das, Sri Chaitanya, and Sufi saints were notable. So, why they came to preach religious harmony? What was the problem in the society? You know that in the Middle Age, where the common people were not, they did not get any prestige in the society, where they were discriminated in the society. At the same time, you know that Indian society is inclusive of many cultures, and that time the society had a caste system, superstitions, beliefs. In such situations, they wanted to remove such kind of superstitions in the society. So these Bhakti cult came into exist, and they preached about the equality, and also they wanted to bring religious harmony in the society. And their main ambition, so they wanted to bring harmony of the faiths together. Okay, and they wanted to achieve together. So that's why this Bhakti cult now came into exist, and they really wanted to bring some changes in the society. So that was one of the thing they wanted to share to the society. So that's why these all saints came together to bring some changes in the society. So that's what we are going to learn about them. And they stressed the idea of global brotherhood, and at the same time they taught bhakti is the best way to attain moksha or salvation. Okay, so during this time, bhakti Sufi saints are also brought a religious harmony, and that is the important thing we are going to tell, that bhakti cult which preached about moksha. I mean, the best way to attain moksha, bhakti is the best way to attain moksha, and they believed in the universal brotherhood. That is about that. And at the same time, we can see the bhakti word is derived from the Sanskrit. Bhakti means bhuj, which means knowledge. Okay, so that is the meaning of bhakti. And teaching of bhakti cult, already I have told. So in South India, South Indian saints made tremendous changes in the society. They wanted to bring religious harmony. At the same time, so their contribution is very much great to the society. So that is teaching of bhakti cult. What they have taught exactly? Okay, so already I told that bhakti cult, actually they condemned the discrimination, and they preached equality. And also bhakti cult opposed superstitious beliefs which were practiced in the society. Okay, and maybe superstitions beliefs such as sati system and child marriage, which was practiced during the early age, that was actually really opposed by them. And also they wanted to unite the heart of the people. And also they taught that according to these Sufi saints, actually they taught that dharma is love and service to mankind, and God is one and not many. So they were some of the main teachings of this bhakti cult, especially in North India as well as in South India. And what is the bhakti heritage in South India? Now let us understand what was the great contribution of this Andal. Okay, this Andal actually was born in Tamil Nadu, and she was the devotee of Vishnu. She was the devotee of Vishnu, Andal. Okay, and her father was Vishnu Chitta, and she was the adopted daughter of Vishnu Chitta. Okay, and Vishnu Chitta was also a great devotee of Vishnu, and this Vishnu Chitta also known as Periyalvar. Okay, so since they are from Alvar family, they kept as a Periyalvar. Okay, Periyalvar. So and this Vishnu Chitta was really a great devotee of Vishnu, and he used to provide garland, okay, to the Vishnu, offering garland to Vishnu, and it was observed by Andal also, and she also became a great devotee of Vishnu. And Andal original name actually was Goda Devi. Okay, Andal original name was Goda Devi, and they were really they grown in the bhakti of Vishnu, and she wrote Tirupavi, which is dedicated to Krishna. Okay, it is one of the religious ceremony very famous in Tamil Nadu even today also. Okay, Tirupavi Vrata. Okay, in Tamil Nadu. And according to Alvar, all Vishnu devotees are equal, and without, those who follow Vishnu, they all are equal. They are all the devotees are equal, and they should not be questioned based on their birth. It means all Vishnu devotees are equal, and their birth should not be questioned. Okay, so that is the one of the teaching of this Andal. And caste discrimination is a criminal offense. Okay, and this is the things which were taught by Andal, and is Andal, and really they oppose the caste system. Okay, and next we can understand about Akka Mahadevi. Okay, who is Akka Mahadevi? Akka Mahadevi is one of the prominent in the Vachanas. Okay, she was an enterprising woman in the Vachana movement, and she gave an immense contribution to the society by spreading Vachanas. Okay, and she was born in Udutade, Shivamogga district. Okay, and father was Nirmala Shetty and mother was Sumati. And Akka Mahadevi, and she believed strongly in Shiva, okay, Shaivism, and she was a devotee of Shiva, and she claimed that Channamallikarjuna himself to be her husband. Okay, so and she has strongly believed that Channamallikarjuna, and when she was forced to get married, Kausik, and she really doesn't want to get married, and when she was forced by her parent, and finally she has accepted Channamallikarjuna as her own husband, and finally she got Guru Linga Dikshe Jangama, and she left the place, and finally she stayed in Anubhava Mantapa, and that is Anubhava Mantapa, which was built by Basavanna, okay, in Kalyana for some time. Then many vachanas were written by her, and at the same time we can see Shiva Sharana, that time Shiva Sharanas, I mean, many Shiva Sharanas have become the follower of Akama Devi, and finally she left and finally when she died, her mortal body was left in one of the Keladi forest in Sri Shaila. Okay, so that is about Akama Devi. Akama Devi was a great devotee of Shiva. Okay, so she has accepted Channamallikarjuna as her own husband. Next, we can understand about this Purandara Dasa. Purandara Dasa age actually started between 1480 to 1564 C. Okay. He is also one of the important person, one who gave no importance for the Dasa Sahitya or Kannada Dasa literature. Okay, and he was born in Purandaragada. Purandaragada, and his original name was actually Shivappa Nayaka. Sorry, Srinivasa Nayaka. Okay, Purandaradasa original name was Srinivasa Nayaka. His father was Varadappa Nayaka and mother Leelavati. Mother Leelavati, and his wife was Lakshmi Bai. Okay, so Lakshmi Bai was a religious woman, and he was actually one of the miser, and he was an architect. And what he did sometime when after gathering wealth, and he started to distribute to the poor and needy, and later he left that place, and he came to Vijayanagara empire where he was sheltered under the court of Sri Krishna Devaraya, and where he was now taught by Vyasaraya, the guru of Purandara Dasa, and he received Purandara Dasa Diksha. It means he received, actually Vyasaraya gave him a Diksha and called him Purandara Dasa. Okay, so and what he did, it means Purandara. Okay, he later became Purandara Dasa. Okay, so he also very famous writing songs, and was very famous in musical play. Okay, and he also gave immense contribution to the society, and he also condemned the caste system, and he also wanted to bring religious harmony, and he is also known as one of the famous musician, or we can say that he is a famous in Carnatic music. Okay, he was very famous in Carnatic music. He is also known as Sangeeta Pitamaha. Okay, who Purandara Dasa. Okay, so that's why his guru himself actually praised him. His guru Vyasaraya praised him as a Purandara Dasa is ultimate as a Dasa. Okay, so that is about Purandara Dasa, and he is very famous in Purandara Gita Sangeeta Pitamaha, and through his vachanas, so he really attracted the mind of the people in the society, and his contribution is very much great to the society through his music and plays. Okay, and next is about Kanakadasa. Okay, so Kanakadasa born in Kanakadasa is one of the famous Kirtanakaras of Dasa Sahitya. Okay, he was born about 1508 and in Haveri district. Timmappa was his original name. Okay, and he born in Beda village of Bankapura, and Veerappa and Bachamma were his parents. Veerappa and Bachamma. And like like Purandaradasa, Kanakadasa also is very famous Vachanakaras, and he also he also traveled to from one place to another place by sacrificing his life. He taught many vachanas to the people, and he brought awareness of the society, how the people should live in the society, and it is said that he found a pot full of gold, and finally he distributed to the poor people, and finally he reached to Udupi, and there where we can see that he was a really devotee of Lord Krishna, okay, Krishna temple, Sri Krishna temple at Udupi, and where he was praising to God. One of the priests chased him, wanted to chase him out, but Lord Krishna really seeking the faith of Kanakadasa, and Krishna himself turned towards to Kanakadasa, and today we can see one of the famous Kanakana Kindi in that Sri Krishna Udupi temple. That is about the Kanakadasa, and he also composed many kirtanas, okay, and he was actually pen name personal, he had his own personal god, okay, and pen name Adikeshava was his personal god, okay, and he also strongly opposed the superstitious beliefs which were existed in the society, and also he criticized the caste system, okay. So that is about the Kanakadasa. And the last person who was prominent in South India to teach Bhakti cult was Shishanala Sharif. Shishanala Sharif is the first Kannada Islamic or Muslim mystic poet, and he was known as a Kabir of Karnataka, Shishanala Sharif, and his parents were Imam Sahib and mother Ajamma. Okay, so he is studied both Hindu and Islamic religion during his childhood, and he also gave importance for the religious harmony, and his guru was a Govinda Bhatta. He also took Diksha, Govinda Bhatta, and he also wrote some of the important books. So they are famous in like Tattvapada. They are Tattvapada, or we can say that they are very famous in his poems. Okay, so that is Moharam words. We can see among those, that is some of the songs which were composed by Shishanala Sharif were that is Kalagapada, then Dharmika, Nitipada, and Alvipada, and some, okay, like that. There are some of the famous songs and poems were written by Shishanala Sharifa, and we can also see his great contribution. He also tried to spend no time for the humanity beyond the barriers of caste system and religion. So that is about the Shishanala Sharifa. So today we have already discussed about these Bhakti saints, okay, and their contribution. So and in the next class, let us understand about the North Indian saints who brought tremendous changes in the society to bring our religious harmony. So let us look into it in the next class. Okay. If you have doubt, please you can clarify in the next class. Thank you.